with your host Jay Pops. Guys, how's it going? How's it going, man? It is Thursday. It is 2 days removed from election day that just happened, right? No, we're not going to talk any politics, but for the ones out there that didn't know, and I'm pretty sure you guys do, Donald Trump has been elected as the next president of the United States. Okay, just want to throw that out there. But yes, guys, that is finally done. But also, what's going on around Texas A&M country, right? The Aggies in the first 2024 college playoff rankings have come in at number 14. Okay? In the AP polls, I believe they were number 15. So now Texas A&M in the college football rankings poll, right? They've come in at number 14. What does that say? That says that those guys legitimately respect Texas A&M as of right now. Okay? It's all about how you finish out these last 3 games. All right, because you have New Mexico, and then after that you have Auburn, and then after that you got the grand finale with Texas. Okay. Also, breaking news here, guys. Former 5-star recruit Johntay Cook has officially been let go off of the Texas Longhorns. Okay. No, I'm not sure of what happened right there. If I knew some information, trust me, guys, I would bring it out and I will tell you about it, okay? But as of right now, Johntay Cook is no longer with the team. Even Johntay Cook himself has come out. He's also he's made a comment about it, and from my understanding, he's saying, in my own words, not his, hey man, you guys are gonna regret this. So I've also heard that him and Texas both made the mutual agreement to go ahead and move on. You know. And it is what it is, okay? So thank all of you guys for tuning in. To the ones that's out there, man, shout out to you guys, man. This podcast would not be here if it wasn't because of you guys, okay? So please forgive me. I did have shows lined up back to back. But being that it was election week and some other things going on, man, I wasn't able to get to the show. But hey man, now I'm here, so guys, let's talk about it. What's going on? That one right there is the biggest news with Johntay Cook, right? So what's going on in that Texas A&M camp as of right now, okay? As of right now, we all know about the injury that happened to Le'Veon Moss, right? And which is a significant blow to that team. But also, what I've heard, just as well as you guys have heard as well, Ruben Owens, I believe that he's doing his best to work his way back. Will he be back for the Texas game? No, he will not be back for the Texas game, okay? Anybody out there that's listening, that guy will not be back for the Texas game. If he does, I'll be shocked, okay? What does that say going forward, man? In this specific bye week here, the running backs will get a lot of work, okay? E.J. Smith, he will get a lot of work. Amari Daniels, he will get a lot of work. And we kind of got to sort of lean on Amari Daniels to be that bell cow now, all right? I'm not afraid of it, by all means, but I just want to know, just like you guys want to know, how will it look? Will this team look faster? Because I was listening to Texags the other day, and they kind of said the same thing I said, man. The team, they aren't going to go quick up tempo by all means, but the team would just look faster now, okay? You got Marcel Reed back there playing quarterback. I believe he would take a lot of zone read snaps now, okay? But that's just me. Also, I think you will see a lot of tight end action. And I think you'll just see a lot more passing the football to just take a little bit of oomph from off of that run. You know what I mean? From off of that running game. Being that we are going to need it, man. We're going to need all 4 phases of the game, okay? We're going to need all 4 phases of the game. We're going to need offense. We're going to need defense. And we're going to need special teams. I'm sorry, so we're going to need all three phases of the game. I don't know why I said four. We're going to need all three phases of the game, okay? So, also, just some other things here. And like I say, guys, it's the bye week. So, if you hear me kind of like going off of Texas A&M then coming back, that's just because it's the bye week, okay? Also, out there in the college football world, Florida's head coach, Billy Napier, he will be back. He will be back for the 2025 season. I kind of knew that already. A couple of people were shocked. Me, I wasn't, right? But I kind of knew that already being at DJ Lagway. That guy's going to be good, man. He's going to be really, really good. And it's a reason to why Texas A&M was trying to make a very big push to land that guy in last year's class, okay? He went on ahead and he went to Florida. It is what it is, but from what I've heard, it's an injury, but it's not a serious injury. I think it was just something going on with his hamstring, okay? I know they carted him off the field, stuff like that in that last game against Georgia, but it's nothing serious from what I'm looking at, what I'm hearing, right? He's done pretty much like a light practice. I honestly think that guy would be playing in the Texas game. Okay, and just a reminder here, Texas kicks off the 11 o'clock hour for the SEC. It's going to be Texas versus Georgia out there in Austin. I'll be watching that game just as well as a lot of you guys will. And it is what it is, okay? So, like I say, that's just some news for you as well. Out there with the coaching Corso and stuff like that. Got somebody in here saying, man, what happened with Johntay Cook? I don't know. I'm trying to find out the same thing that you're trying to find out. But some way, somehow, man, Johntay Cook, he's been let go. Like I say, I don't know why, but Johntay Cook has been let go for whatever reason, man. So I'm trying to find out some information just like you guys are trying to find out some information. You know what I mean? But like I say, it is what it is. No, that's not, our guy by any means. Yes, trust me, guys, I know that part. But like I say, man, it's crazy how that works. In which he was actually the same guy, that was out there, and he was out there talking his noise, like he usually do, stuff like that to Evan Stewart. When Evan Stewart was on the team. But he was telling Evan Stewart, hey, I see him in the transfer portal. So, well, guess what? He didn't make it in time for Evan Stewart. Evan Stewart was already in the transfer portal. He wasn't in there yet. So, what I will say is this here. Do I mind Johntay Cook coming to the team? I don't. I think a lot of you guys out there don't neither. But it's all about the background, history of it and stuff like that. Like, what actually did he do? In which is, we will see. I have no clue of what Johntay Cook done. Okay? But I am curious to know what happened. That's a big what happened. But then again, will he even be looking at Texas A&M? Because hell, he may not even much be looking at Texas A&M, to be honest with you. So you also got to factor that in as well. So we will see what goes on there and stuff like that. But as of right now, Texas A&M does need help in that wide receiver spot. Okay, and Johntay Cook would kind of be like a plug and play guy, and that's something that I do know. But then again, like I say, man, the young man never got on the field like that. Hell, Ryan Wingo passed him up, and he's only a freshman. So I can imagine what all happened there. Maybe it was a locker room. You just never know. But I'm hoping we'll find out something here in a day or two. Okay. But going forward here, right? Like I say, it's not really much. Being that it is a bye week, man. I believe the team is just trying to get back fully healthy. Like I told you guys on the last podcast, Chase Basantes, I believe he will be out for the season. Then again, he may not. You never know. So we're just trying to see what's all what there as well. Uh, I do think a lot of guys, like I say, are just trying to get their bodies back right. Uh, and I do believe the running back room is going to get hit, pretty hard. And what I mean by that is they're hitting the ground running. I believe the offensive line, during there, man, they're trying to fix their miscues. They're thinking about things that happened last game, just trying to make sure that doesn't happen throughout the duration of the season. The defensive line as well, And me and Eric was talking about this, man, and shout out to Eric, by the way. But we were saying as well, man, like, that was just a bad game. That was a very bad game. I do not expect that to happen anymore, okay? But that was just a bad game, man, in which I expect that defensive line to tighten all of this up during their bye week, okay? Let's start seeing, hey, man, where the holes at? What can we fix here? What can we fix there? Stuff like that. So just be prepared on that as well. I think another thing is, the wide receiver room will start to hit it more and more, being that Marcel Reed is the starter going forward. I believe they do need to start building that connection just a little bit more heavily. You know what I mean? The tight ends, like I told you earlier in the podcast, I think the tight ends will be good. But that wide receiver room, we still have not found that go-to guy, in my opinion. We still have not found him. Our passing stats are just not good. They're not good at all. However, this team is still 7-2 with not good passing stats, man. So that lets you know one thing here: the team is going to run the ball. All right, they're going to run the football. As of right now, it's nobody that has been stopping them. In that last game, I know we didn't cover 200 on the ground, but they still had at least about 150, man. Which shows me something, and that lets me know something, that they are heavily dedicated to the run. Does that mean that they'll stop passing the football? No, that does not. But they are heavily dedicated to their running game, man, in which nothing is wrong with that, But I'm just like you guys. I would like to see them pass the football around, just a little bit more here. But I think as the season goes along, and being that, like I say, Marcel Reed is the starter now, I think we'll start to see a little bit more of that passing, just starting to be a factor there, So, but that's something that we'll have to wait on. But like I say, man, I do expect for that to eventually start catching up. Okay. I don't know why this is blocking my dang thing here, which makes no sense to me. No, I restart. I don't know why that was blocking that. I hate when stuff does that. But I'm just trying to look at some stats here and see what's all what. So in these SEC stats, right? So far as running the football, Texas A&M is still number 2 in the SEC at running the football. With Le'Veon Moss going down, what would that impact? I think this team would still be number 2 in running the football. All right, that's just me. Tennessee is number 1. But I do think that they'll still be number 2 when it's all said and done. So far as sacking the quarterback, which is crazy to me, right? Texas A&M is down the list in the SEC at sacking the quarterback, and that's mainly because they missed 10 of them last weekend. I cannot harp on that enough, man. They missed about 10 sacks. South Carolina is at 31. Ole Miss is at a ridiculous number of 42 sacks for the season. My question is, why is Ole Miss 6-2? I'm going to be real here. I do not think Ole Miss will beat Georgia this weekend. I do not believe in that. I do think they'll get to Carson back. Don't get me wrong. They got 42 sacks. So, I mean, obviously they're doing good on the defensive line. But I just don't think that they'll win, man. So, like I was talking to E earlier, right? And man, this is my thing with Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin hasn't really done anything. He goes out there and he beats shit teams, and he wanted to annihilate Jimbo Fisher for whatever reason because of his friend Nick Saban or whatever his excuse was. But he doesn't win big games. He just doesn't. Like I say, he made a living off beating Jimbo Fisher, but he doesn't win big games, and it just amazes me. He's never beaten Alabama. He's beaten LSU like one time, I think, out of the 3 years he's been there. And now he's going up against Georgia, I think, for the second year in a row. Second or third year in a row, but second year in a row in which Georgia's ranked, and he's not going to beat him. Now, come Saturday, that could totally change. You know, Ole Miss could go out there and totally beat him, annihilate him. I just don't think that's going to happen. I don't think so. So, this is with me and the rest of the college football world. You have by far the easiest schedule that Ole Miss could have asked for. The easiest that Ole Miss could have ever asked for. I get it. I get to talk with Texas, right? I get it. They have an easy ass schedule. I get it. But if you were to compare Ole Miss's schedule to Texas' schedule, I think Texas' schedule was harder than Ole Miss. In which Ole Miss, I'm sorry, and that's crazy to me because they slid Ole Miss all the way down to like number 16, I think. Number 16 or 17. It's one of those. And they're going to ultimately, man, these guys are going to lose third game. And once they lose this third game here, it's kind of like the lane train is going to fade into the abyss. That's what it's going to do. And I don't know, man. I've seen this go in time and time again. Time and time again. And like I say, I think the lane train I think the lane train has come to a halt at Ole Miss. I think he's done just about all that he can do. Jackson Dart will not be there next year. Understand they got their quarterback that they had committed to Texas A&M and then they flipped him. Man, no, This was Lane Kiffin's window, and he missed it. He absolutely missed it. So, like I say, I never have believed in a guy. He's a good play caller by all means, but I never have believed in a guy as a head coach. Never. Reason being is because I've always felt like he's never taken the job seriously. He had. I mean, I feel that way. I feel like he's never taken the job seriously, man. And I don't know. You know, I really don't. Now, like I say, if you hear me getting off of A&M for a little bit, man, that's just because we're in the bye week. You know, for the ones that just tuned in, that's just specifically because we're in the bye week here. But with Auburn, I think Hugh Freeze days is coming to an end. But the thing about Hugh Freeze, I think next year, Hugh Freeze is going to win 10 games next year. I honestly think that. Now, 10 games, that can be within the regular season, or that could be 10 games plus the bowl game. You know what I mean? 9 games plus the bowl games, which make it 10. I think that guy's either going to go 9-3 next year, or he's going to go 10-2. I'm talking about Hugh Freeze at Auburn. We've seen Auburn be good. We've seen Auburn be bad. This is probably by far the baddest. This is probably by far the baddest I've seen Auburn losing wise. That team is god awful. And this is the thing that's going to get you. You know, because Texas A&M has to go up on the road. And Texas A&M has to go and play Auburn in their house. Right? They will have to go there in their house. Auburn can sneak up and get you. That game is still going to be packed for guys that's thinking that it's not. That game is still going to be packed, probably sold out. You do not want to go up there to Auburn and get embarrassed, okay? That's another one. We hadn't won over there since 2020. We lost in 2022. South Carolina was another one that we had lost in 2022. So we need to go over there and we need to right our wrongs, okay? When we went over there, that was a complete dog shit game in which that offense wasn't good at all. The defense tried to hold it down, but man, that year we were absolutely going 5-7 that year. We were absolutely had a chance to go 6-6, had a chance. We went 5-7, okay. But this time around, I do think they'll win over there. They have a chance to blow them out. They do. They honestly do. That's the God honest truth. A&M has a chance to blow that team out. But we will see. You know, I don't want to speak on that game just yet, right? I want to speak on that on the week of leading up to it, in which we have New Mexico State to worry about first. But then we will get to that game when it comes down to it, man. But like I say, you know, just to go back to Auburn though, man. Auburn has the talent. That's what kills you. This is the same thing that's been going on over there in it. Auburn is a little bit worse off, you know, being that A&M has absolutely had talent over the years. But Auburn just had bad play calling. They don't have a quarterback. That guy is completely ass. I don't know why Hugh Freeze when he got that young man. Well, Hugh Freeze didn't get him. But I don't know why Hugh Freeze made him the starter. Then again, I don't know who's behind the dude. But they have a running back, you know, right? They have a defense. Auburn is just a shell of Hugh Freeze himself. That's about as much as I can say on that one, man. Auburn is a shell of Hugh Freeze himself. Okay, so also do have one thing too regarding A&M. So a lot of people had mentioned, right, Shamar Turner, the Shamar Turner situation. The reason why a lot of us are behind Mike Elko, number one, because Elko is very disciplined in what he wants to do and how the way he wants to see this program move forward, and which is a damn good thing, right? He spoke on the Shamar Turner situation, and this was Elko's words, right? I've done a lot of things that I can do, you know, to get the message across. It seems as if the message isn't getting across. So we're going to have to try something else. I will say this, don't be shocked if you see Gabriel Brownlow-Denby fill Shamar Turner's spot in that New Mexico game, okay? I do think Elko is probably in the process of benching him. Not for the entire game, but at least the first half. At least the first half of that New Mexico game. If I'm right, I want you guys to come back to this podcast and say, hey man, you were absolutely correct. I think that's what he means by discipline, but also practice as well. He's going to make him practice hard, man. He's going to make him practice hard. This team, overall, though, they do need to work on those penalties in this bye week. They need to work on not false starting, okay? We're going through a change in that offensive line. I think this is like the third time that we've had to change the offensive line, okay? The offensive line is not bad by all means, but you notice the significant change when we went up against South Carolina, in which it's going to happen when it's a new offensive line. Not everybody on there was new, but it's a new offensive line. That's fine. I can deal with that, all right? Like I told you before, that's going to be the most prolific defensive line that you face for the rest of the season. That's it. You don't have to see a South Carolina defensive line anymore. Texas has a good defensive line. They ain't South Carolina, but they just are not. Texas knows this. I know this. Auburn has a good defensive line. They ain't South Carolina, but okay, they know this. I know this. You all know this. New Mexico damn sure ain't all South Carolina defensive line. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and throw that on out there. All right. So sack wise, right? We're hovering around 19 sacks in the season. What we wanted to see was more. We completely want to see more. Truth be told, they can go out for these last 3 remaining games, have about 7 sacks in each game. I would not doubt it. I don't think you guys need to doubt it. Okay? So let's move along here. Offensively, though, I just want to give you guys a broad look of, and let you guys see where Texas A&M really is. Also, another thing is this, man, and I know a lot of people have been watching this, right? A lot of people have been watching. Georgia offense isn't good this year. I'm going to flat out say it for the ones out there that are thinking that Georgia offense is not good. Texas A&M offense, they're right in the middle. That's what I'm going to say. They're right in the middle because of that running game, right? What's starting to amaze me, and Tennessee offense hasn't been good this year, man. Texas offense is starting to kind of decline a little bit. And I don't know if a lot of you guys are noticing what's going on. For some odd reason, that Texas offensive line is starting to cave in. And I think you're starting, although they are 7-1, I believe, right? Either 7-1 or 8-1. I think 7-1 right now. 3-1 in the SEC. I think the conference is starting to weigh on that offensive line just a little bit. Although they hadn't lost any game. Well, the only game they lost was Georgia. But although they hadn't lost, 2 to 3 games, it's a difference. And this is what we tried to explain. We wasn't being egotistical about it or nothing like that. But this is what we tried to explain to Texas and Oklahoma. Oklahoma is just completely trash this year, and they're experiencing the SEC at firsthand. Like, no, man, you have to get up the next week, and you have to go out here, and you can lose to teams like South Carolina and be way more talented than those guys are. All right, but we're starting to witness Texas kind of just go down that hill just a little bit. Not saying that they're going to go way down the damn hill and just flatline. That ain't what I'm saying. What I'm getting at is that the SEC is tough, man. And you'll hear a Longhorn fan say this every time. Yeah, man, but that's what we wanted. That's what we wanted. Blah, blah, blah. I get that, right? I get that part. Me, honestly, I probably would have stayed in Big 12. Why? Because if you can win over there, then you can win over there. All right, Oklahoma. If Oklahoma was in the Big 12, they would probably be running that conference right now still. Right? If Texas was over there with the talent that they have right now, they'll probably be running that conference. All right, but the point that I'm making is that you can start to see that SEC grind of a schedule get to that team, man. And I know it is. They're not going to say that, but it is. It's a mentally challenged type of thing, okay? And they only went on the road to Vanderbilt, which is crazy to me, but they only went on the road to Vanderbilt. They're at home against Florida. I don't know where their next game is at, but I'm definitely going to check this out right here, right? So let me pull up their schedule, right? And which was always going to be a favorable schedule. It was going to be favorable. So they go on the road to Arkansas, right? In which Arkansas is going to flood that game. Anybody who's thinking that game is not going to be packed on November 16th, you're god darn lie. Arkansas is going to pack that stadium. Now, this is what I will say: they would not put up Ole Miss points. Okay, Texas is not going to walk out there with a 56-24 win. That's not going to happen. Anticipate Texas to seriously go through that grind. It's going to be a grind, man. And I honestly think this game is going to be close with Florida. If Legway is pretty good and he's playing above average, while having that injury that he had last week. I've already told you before, man. I think Florida walks away with a win behind DJ Legway's arm. Don't think Texas will lose at Arkansas at all. But Arkansas will keep it close. This is what we're getting to. I do think Texas is going to give up some sacks now. All 4 of these games is left. With their schedule, all 4 of their games is straight SEC opponents. I think Florida's going to get some sacks on them. I think Arkansas is going to get some sacks on them. I think Kentucky is going to get some sacks on them. And I think Texas A&M is going to get some sacks on them. Their offensive line is starting to cave in. You can tell. I think they gave up 7 sacks to Georgia. They went out there to Vanderbilt and they gave up like 3 more sacks. This is the SEC schedule, man. This is what we literally always brag about. We don't complain about it by all means. It's a complaint being that we were in divisions, right? You had the East and you had the West. Alabama was in your way. Auburn was in your way, no matter if they were good or bad. Ole Miss was definitely in your way with Lane Kiffin, right? Arkansas was right there, not necessarily in your way, but for A&M, they were in your way. And then you had Mississippi State. Mississippi State was just, man, look, Mississippi State, give that guy 3 years, Mississippi State's going to be rolling. They're going to be rolling, but they're going to be in a goddamn way. I can't stand that damn team because they've been beating my damn team, right? That's the truth there. But the SEC is just so stacked, and now we got 16 teams. I don't know how they're going to do division now. I know they're talking about doing pods and stuff like that. Man, I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't think they're going to do pods. I think they're probably going to go back to just good old divisions, right? So, just to be, just clarify some things here. You can have a team like number 24, Missouri Tigers, right? 2-2 in the conference. 2-2. I don't know why Missouri is still ranked. It is what it is right there, but they put them way at the back, as you can see. They do see something in Missouri that, we've seen as well, but Missouri is not a good team. All right, I'm going to go ahead and say that, man. I'm going to flat out say it. Missouri is not a good team at all. But for whatever reason, Missouri is in here, right? So, Texas A&M is tied for first place with Georgia, in which meaning, we've just had that many games, just as Georgia had. Both of them are 5-1 in the conference. Below that is Tennessee, in where Tennessee is the number 7 team in the country, but Texas A&M is above them conference-wise because they just played more games, right? So Tennessee is 4-1, Longhorns are 3-1, and they're the number 5 team in the country. For whatever reason, it's just a lot of people that still believe in Alabama. They're going to be the team to get there. Probably some people believe that they're going to be the team to get there. I understand it, but I still think we're looking at what's on the helmet. I think we're still looking at what's on the helmet. They have a rich winning history due to Nick Saban, and others, right? But mainly due to Nick Saban. But Alabama is not a good football team. That team is not good at all. And we have to stop sugarcoating this, man. We have to. We got to stop playing favorites, too, in which this is college football. Y'all gonna play favorites all damn day long. But Alabama is not a good football team. As of right now, they're tied with Ole Miss at a 3-2 record. Here, they're tied with Vanderbilt at a 3-2 record. And then LSU, they're up there 3-1, and they're behind Texas. This is what I've already said. I'm taking LSU to win that football game against Alabama. Now, I could be wrong, and if they lose, then they lose, right? That means LSU is completely out of the conversation for a college football playoff bid. But I just think LSU is the better team. They aren't the better team on defense. I still think Alabama is a better team on defense, although that's not a good Alabama defense. But do think LSU, and they're playing at home this weekend under the lights. I just think LSU is going to pull out another energy, man. I do. I'll be watching that game just as well as you all. I just think LSU is the better team. I think they have the better quarterback too. That's just me, right? That's just me. So, but we'll see, man. Like I say, this is the SEC. You're gonna have to go through that grind. Okay. So, guys, that's all I have for you on today. I will be back on Saturday night, okay? And I'm gonna have to make sure that I tell my wife this, man, because she's gonna be mad at me doing a Saturday podcast, right? But I'll be back Saturday night to discuss what went on with the games, and stuff like that, man. And I'm trying to get more into doing that on the norm, So I'll be back on Saturday night just to discuss a little bit of things. And hey, I'll see you guys then. Other than that, Giggle Magus.